Welcome back to Dubsy Bricks for another episode of Building Gotham City in Lego. And here we are back at the Monarch Theatre. Made a good start to the building last week. However, I do want to change the entrance just here. I want to make some doors up using some tiles and plates and put them on some hinges and see how good an effect I can make on there. What I'd also like to do this week is work out how I'm going to have the stairs coming up inside and the actual layout of this floor as well. Once I've done that, I can then order or work out what I need to order for the bricks to go around the walls in the dark reddish colour, and also work out what colour I'm going to tile the floor as well. Once I've done that, hopefully I'll be able to make a start on doing the next floor up. Now, I did say I wanted to get all of the interior done before I did the next floor up. However, with a lot of these builds, I'm going to need to work out what I need to order. So I'm just going to do what I can when I can. And yeah, just see how far we can get with the build. And here we have the start of the staircase. And I want to try and make this as grand looking as possible. Now, although I've used the dark bluish grey hinge piece just here, this is going to be built into the brick wall, so you're not actually going to see it. And the same on these parts. I will be building the walls off of those studs, so the wall's going to have a nice curve to it as you go up. This is a technique that I used in my Jabba's Palace mock, and it worked out really well there. So hopefully the same will happen. So all I need to do is just put a stud on the end just there, 1x2 plate on the end, and then another hinge piece. Then get your 2x8 plate, pop that onto the hinge piece, and that clips perfectly onto the single stud. So that will just carry on round. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to carry it on all the way around till I've done 90 degrees. And I just hope that when I get to the 90 degrees, it's going to line up perfectly with a stud on the wall. Then I can attach it into the wall as well. If it doesn't, then I'll just tile it off and then overlap it. So it's not a big deal if it doesn't. But yeah, that's the start of the staircase. So I'm just going to carry on building that up, and then I'll put it into the build and see how it looks. And it's decision time on the lower floor here. I need to put the stairs in on here, and I'm going to start at pretty much centre of there. Over this side here, there's going to be a wall, as I'm going to have the curved wall there, and I want to hide the curved side of it, so it will look a little bit untidy. So whether or not I put a bar area down here or a ticket office, I'm not sure just yet. Might even put the lift that goes up to the next floor in there as well. Now, with the walls in here, originally I was going to be doing it in the dark red colour. However, I think it might be a little bit too dark for this section. And I'm thinking that the light tan colour, which I've got on the walls just here, the little squares or rectangles, I think that might just look a little bit nicer in there. I can add some other colours into the wall as well to break the light tan up. I've also got some decorative slopes which I could put in here, and I just think it's going to have a nicer effect. So let's start experimenting with the wall design, and once I've done so, I'll check back in and show you how it's looking. And here we have the side wall, and I've gone for a snot technique here just to add that little bit extra detail to the build. On the bottom here, I'm going to be putting some of the light tan ingot pieces. I'm going to go for a dark tan line across the top and then another light tan across there. That'll then join all of that together. And on the back wall here, I'm just going to put a plain tan wall to start with, as the stairs are going to curl in towards that. And it's just so if you're peering through that side, you can see the tan as opposed to the ugly multicoloured brick wall that's along the edge there. On the bottom here, I'm just going to put a row of dark tan tiles, and I'll do that all the way around the edge and then work some sort of pattern out on the inside of it. But once I've done that, I can then start working out how I'm going to attach the stairs to the next floor up. And here is the staircase with the banister on there and the curved wall around the back. All I need to do now is integrate this into the building itself. I've tiled off the floor where the stairs are going to be, and I just need to connect the wall at the back there, and hopefully everything will line up with these studs at the front there. A few more details added to the back wall just there with the ingots, and yeah, it's coming on nicely. So let's try and get the stairs all fitted into place, and hopefully it lines up. And just checking in with a progress update on the interior of the build here. Stairs are all kept in place. The only place we're actually connected is at the bottom. All of these here are just resting on the tiles, and there was a gap between the last one here and the wall, but it was of just one tile or one plate. So I just put a row of snot bricks in, put a tile in there, and that bridged the gap. So that's all good, and it's nicely kept together there. Now on this section just here, this is all tiled, and then I've just rested the plates on, and I've gone for 2 rows of plates just so I can interlock them all together, and then I've just tiled over the top of this so the next floor can just sit on there nicely. Around the side here we've got the lift or the elevator shaft, and I put these tiles on here which are from the Daily Bugle set, so they're little triangles to point whether it's going up or down. However, due to it being on a headlight brick, you can't really work the triangle that well, so I will amend that a little bit later. Put a snot brick on here, and I'm contemplating putting a clock tile on there, as everybody's going to need to know the time as when the show is going to be starting. Now, there are a lot more details I want to put in on this floor, such as a bar, a ticket office, and a couple of other little details. However, I'm not sure exactly how I want it to look just yet, so I'm going to turn my attention to building the next floor up. So I'm just going to make the outline of that, put it on there, and then I can start working out what sort of design I'm going to do on the walls. And here we have the floor all ready for the brickworks and tiling, and I'm not sure how I'm going to be doing the wall along this edge, so that might change how I've got this set up at the moment. I want to have a nice edge on here. I can do a lot of details to it. Now this hole over here is obviously where the stairs come up, so the next step will be on the grey just there. Then I have a balcony looking down. The idea is I'm going to have a bar here with some tables, and then you just have the people where they can enjoy their drinks before they go to a show. And I'll probably have the steps coming up here which will go to the actual theatre itself, which will be on the next floor up. And I want to have it so the hole in the next floor is as small as possible, the equivalent to this, so that I can have the maximum room for having a stage and all of the seating. So I put as many seats as possible within that area. Let's work out what we can do with the walls on this build, and I'll check back in once I've done so. And work has started on the next floor walls, and this is one of the versions I come up with. Originally I did have some tan window frames in here, however they weren't looking quite right. I did have these pillars all the way along, but it looked too similar to the floor below, and I wanted this floor to look quite a bit different than the one below it. So I've then gone over to this side and I've started experimenting with these curved slopes in the dark tan, and I think this looks a lot better. Also did away with the masonry bricks along the bottom, and I think I'm going to replicate that on this side here. I think it's just giving that the building a little bit of class, a little bit of style, but it's keeping the Gotham colours in there nicely. On the front section just here, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing here. Last week I mentioned that I was not going to put the cones on that you see in the Michael Keaton Batman film. However, I do think they would look quite cool on this build. So whether or not I put them on, I'm not sure. I would like to have the whiteboard on there that tells you what's being shown at the theatre. I think having the Mark Zorro written on there would look really good. I have ordered a dot set off of eBay, which has got a load of 1x1 circular tiles on there, so I should be able to spout that on there. It would have been nice if they were square, but looking on Bricklink, there weren't any recent sets which actually had printed tiles on there, so they have to do for now. I'm sure it'll look good with a white background on there. But yeah, really happy with what we've managed to get done this week. With this floor, loving how the staircase goes up there. I think it's got a really nice grand look about it. And I think once I've worked out what sort of patterns I want to have on the floor, it's going to really finish it off, as well as ticket booths and other little details like that. But yeah, the Monarch Theatre is coming on nicely. With the door section down here, I was hoping this week to put some wooden effect doors on there. However, I couldn't quite find the pieces I wanted to, and also I needed to work out how I'm going to hinge them on. So that is something I am going to hopefully do this week. I will be sorting through a load of boxes of Lego this week, so fingers crossed I can find some pieces that's going to enable me to redo this door section down here. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this update. If you have, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And if you know anybody else you think would be interested in building Gotham or building Mandalore, if you could share the channel with them, it'd be much appreciated. Anyway, thanks for hopping on by, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.